you are poor, when you're broke, when you're struggling financially,
every night I would think if I didn't wake up tomorrow, I would be okay with it.
So being broke is one of the best positions to start a business firm. You've got nothing to lose and everything to figure out. And when you've got nothing to lose, you stop trying to look smart and start doing what actually works. Now, everything you've been told about starting a business is 100% wrong.
The best way to stay poor is to listen to poor people about how to get rich.
You don't need investors, a unicorn idea, or a 10-page business plan. What you do need is so simple that most people ignore it. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what business to start, who to serve, and how to make your very first dollar. I'm gonna share the whole 4-step process. Because the truth is, money doesn't start businesses. Momentum does. Now let's talk about how to build it. By the way, if you're new to my channel, I'm Anika. I'm a creative entrepreneur, a writer, and a pitch deck designer. Over the last few years, I've collaborated with more than 160 plus brands from 19 plus different countries and helped them raise more than 80 million plus USD. On this channel, I talk about everything I've known from my own experience and also everything I've learned from hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours of research. So let's get started. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the mindset, and I'm going to share a few quick examples. But if you feel like you've already got the mindset part figured out, feel free to skip ahead to step 1. So when you're broke, you're forced to use something more stronger, creativity. And it's not just me saying that. Morgan Housel, the author of The Psychology of Money, wrote, "The ability to do well with money has little to do with how smart you are and a lot to do with how you behave." Being broke strips away the fluff. You cannot hide behind paid ads or fancy branding. You have to make something that people genuinely want. That's why so many great businesses start from nothing. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in a garage. John Combe built WhatsApp after growing up on food stamps. And on the other side of the world, J.K. Rowling built a creative empire from a welfare check, typing chapters in cafes between caring for her baby. And yeah, that's how she wrote Harry Potter. Broke doesn't mean that you're behind. It means that you're forced to focus on what actually matters, solving problems that hurt enough for people to pay for a fix. And that's where the first step begins, with what I call the 3 Ps: pain, profession, and passion. Step 1, the 3 Ps, how to pick the right business. Most people try to pick the perfect idea. Well, don't. Because perfection is a trap. You will waste months overthinking instead of testing. What you need is your best bad idea, because once it's out there, feedback will shape it faster than all your brainstorming sessions combined. Now let's break down the 3 Ps. The first P is pain. Start with something you have personally overcome. If you have solved it for yourself, you can solve it for others. Maybe you have figured out how to stop procrastinating, or you have probably learned how to lose 10 pounds without giving up your favorite food. Or maybe you just cracked how to stay consistent with workouts after failing a dozen times before. Whatever it is, that's your gold, because you've solved a problem that used to frustrate you. And I promise you, there are thousands of people out there stuck exactly where you were, and they're waiting for someone who finally gets it. The second P is profession. Your day job is your cheat code. You've already got the skills people pay for. You just haven't packaged them yet. Maybe you're good at writing emails that actually get replies. Or probably you've been managing projects or keeping things running for everyone while everyone else panics. Whatever it is that you've been doing for someone else, you can turn that same skill into something that pays you. And this time, you're the one who sets the price instead of a boss deciding what you're worth. Now, the third P is passion. What's that one thing that you spend hours researching for? That's your unfair advantage. If you're the kind of person who reads Atomic Habits and ends up writing your own habit tracker spreadsheet for no reason, then congrats. That's your passion. So the passion creates staying power. When nothing else works and things get tough, your curiosity is what keeps you in the game. And by the way, here's the secret. You don't have to choose one of these 3 P's. Most successful businesses sit where all these 3 overlap. Pain gives you empathy, profession gives you skill, and passion gives you energy. So maybe create a Venn diagram and see what you have in that intersection, and that's basically your first idea waiting to happen. Step 2, find your who. Alright, now you've got your idea. The next question is, who is it for? If your answer to that is everyone, then congrats, you've picked no one. Because broad doesn't sell, specific sells. The riches are in the niches. And being a polymath, I've struggled with this quite a lot myself. So just trust me on this and go niche. So you can't just sell design services for small businesses. That's like saying food for humans. I mean, technically it's true, but emotionally it's just kind of flat. But if you say something like brand design for female founders launching their first product line, now that sounds like a real specific kind of person you can actually help. So how do you find your who? Well, there are 3 simple lanes. First is people like you. So these are people with same interest, similar background. So in this case, you've basically lived their pain. Number 2 is people you've already helped. So these are people that you have helped even for once, and pay attention to what people always ask you to help them with, and that's basically your clue. Number 3 is people who are clearly underserved. The ones always saying things like, why doesn't anyone make something for people like me? Here's where it gets fun. Niching down doesn't just clarify who you serve, it actually multiplies your price. Let's say you teach time management. That's pretty broad, right? With that in mind, you might sell a $19 ebook because everyone kind of wants that, right? But instead of saying that you teach time management, if you say that you help freelance designers manage projects without losing their weekends, then suddenly you've got a $199 product. And if you really want to take it up a notch, say something like time systems for creative directors, juggling client work, and a side brand. Now suddenly you're solving a mission critical problem, and that's easily a $2,000 offer right there. So it's the same skill and just with different who. Because the more specific the problem, the higher the perceived value. And like Alex Hormozi says, the degree of the pain will be proportional to the price you will be able to charge. So when someone hears your offer and thinks that's literally me, you've basically sold half the product already. Step 3, how to create your offer. Now let's talk about how to actually help people. Every business basically does one of 2 things. It either makes life better or makes pain go away, and that's just it. And pain, by the way, is 2.5 times more powerful than pleasure in driving human behavior. Daniel Kahneman proved that in his Nobel Prize-winning research on loss aversion. So when you're selling, don't just talk about what people are getting, talk about what they're avoiding. Say you're a fitness coach, you're not just selling fitness coaching, you're selling never feeling out of breath, walking upstairs again. And if you do copywriting, you're not just selling copywriting services, you're selling never hearing, this doesn't sound clear from a client again. People don't pay for nice to haves, they pay to have their problems gone. So here's how you turn that relief into a one-liner offer that sells itself. I help who get desired result without thing they hate. That's it. That's your first offer. And here are some examples so you can understand better. It can be something like, I help new creators grow on YouTube without burning out. Or I help business founders eat healthy without spending hours cooking. Or it can also be, I help first-time freelancers find clients without begging on job boards. If it makes you laugh because it's so real, then that's your business. Step 4, how to get your first 5 customers. Now forget ads, forget funnels, forget those 2 spots left. countdowns that somehow reset every single morning. You don't need any of that. You just need real people. Just start small. Reach out to people you already know. Compliment them genuinely and just share what you're building. Just ask them, hey, do you know someone that might need this? And that's just it. No sales tactics, no manipulation. It's just conversation. And if the word selling makes you want to disappear into your hoodie, trust me, I get it. I used to be the same person. But then I read Noah Kagan's $1 Million Weekend, and he said something there that completely flipped my perspective. Selling is helping. And that line hit me because it's so true. When you're selling, you're not forcing anyone. You're just giving them a shortcut to a result that they already want. You're basically helping them to move faster with fewer mistakes, real results, and less stress. And that's not being pushy, that's being useful. So here's your action step. Spend 3 hours a day or send 50 messages a day, whichever comes first. And by day 5, you will have real conversations. And it's very likely that by week 2, you will have real customers. Because people don't buy from the loudest person in the room. They buy from someone that actually cares. So that's not selling, that's helping. So here's the full truth. Being broke isn't a curse. It's just a state that you're in right now. And it forces you to use what can't be taken away. Creativity, courage, and consistency. Remember when I said momentum beats money? That's because when you finally start, even small wins, they compound real fast. So maybe you send 50 messages or 100 messages, get 5 replies, and maybe you make $200. But that $200, it builds proof that you can actually make money solving problems. And that proof, it builds confidence. And that confidence, it turns into more and more high-paying clients. So now you're not broke anymore, you're building. And James Clear said in Atomic Habits, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. This is your system. So just start with your best bad idea, send those messages, and just make your first dollar. Because the only business that fails is the one that never starts. AI is projected to add over $15 trillion to the economy by 2030, and everyday people are turning AI into 6-figure businesses and beyond with no technical skills. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, even predicts the first one-person billion-dollar company will be built on AI. So if that's possible, then building a one-person AI business that hits 10K a month, which could be your freedom number, it's more than realistic. And here's exactly how I'd run it if I wanted to be a millionaire in 2026. I'd follow a 3-stage playbook: start, scale, and expand. First, I'd lock in my freedom number, that first 10K a month. Then I'll scale that same model up to 50K a month. And finally, I'll expand it into a 7-figure machine. Now let's expand on this with exact action steps. Make sure you stick around till the end for the entire playbook. By the way, if you're new to my channel, I'm Anika. I'm a creative entrepreneur, a writer, and a pitch deck designer. Over the past few years, I've collaborated with more than 160 plus brands from 19 plus different countries and helped them raise more than 80 million plus USD. Now let's get back to the video. Stage 1, from 0 to 10K. Most people overcomplicate this. They think they need to build the next ChatGPT or build an app as addictive as TikTok. But the truth is, the fastest way is way simpler. You take one proven AI system, sell it to businesses that are still operating as if it's 2003, and you lock in just 4 clients. 4 clients, each paying $2,500 a month, and that's your first $10K. So what kind of AI systems are we talking about? Well, it's nothing scary. You're not coding a robot army in your garage or something. These are beginner-friendly no-code tools that solve real headaches. Let me give you 4 hot ones right now. Number 1, AI-led qualification. According to HubSpot, sales teams waste over 50% of their time chasing unqualified leads. That's brutal. If you can give them an AI solution that asks the right questions, filters out the time wasters, and passes only qualified prospects to the business owners, then that's like giving them back half their work week. Number 2, AI content and ad generation. 73% of small businesses say they struggle to keep up with social media marketing. And AI can pump out Instagram posts, Facebook ads, and email content automatically. And to a busy gym owner or like a restaurant manager, having content created and scheduled without lifting a finger would be priceless. Number 3, AI hiring assistant. The US Department of Labor estimates a bad hire costs 30% of that employee's first year's salary. An AI assistant that screens resumes, does quick pre-interview Q&As, and even schedule calls will be a huge time and money saver, especially for local businesses with no HR team. Number 4, AI receptionist. Local businesses miss up to 40% of inbound calls according to Harvard Business Review, and that's money left on the table. An AI receptionist can answer calls instantly, book appointments, and even follow up by text. And that's the kind of system that makes a business owner feel like you've just plugged a hole in their revenue bucket. By the way, if you want to learn more about exactly what tools help you build these systems, then you might want to check out this video after this one. And here's the beauty of it. You don't need to sell to fancy tech startups. In fact, avoid them, because they already know about AI. You want to target businesses that are clueless about AI. It could be roofers, gyms, salons, cleaners, HVAC companies. So these folks are years behind, and your simple AI solution might even feel like NASA-level technology to them. So here's what I want you to picture. You're helping a dentist's office. They're drowning in missed calls and half their leads are falling through the cracks. You drop in an AI receptionist plus a lead qualifier, and suddenly they're booking 30% more appointments without lifting a finger. So if each new patient is worth even $500 a year, those extra bookings can add tens of thousands of dollars in annual revenue. So charging them $2,500 a month doesn't just sound reasonable. In fact, it seems kind of cheap. The client engine first for clients. Now here's where most beginners freeze. They're like,
I don't know anybody. I don't have an audience. I can't even convince my dog to sit. How am I going to convince a business owner to pay me $2,500?
relax. We are not shooting Super Bowl ads. We are using the most underrated, boring, and lethal weapon in marketing. Cold email. And before you roll your eyes, cold email works. It's how Salesforce got their first client. It's how countless agencies scale. And now with AI writing tools, you can fire off hundreds of personalized emails faster than you can make a cup of coffee. I betcha. And here's the play. Pick 4 niches. Let's say plumbers, roofers, gyms, and dentists. Send the same offer to all 4 and watch who bites. Say plumbers really like your AI receptionist, but the gym owners in general, they are probably ignoring it. So congrats, you just found your money niche. And that's how you cut the guesswork. And by the way, if you want to learn more about offer creation, I talk more about it in this video. So the beauty of this whole thing is you basically need 4 clients, just 4. Then you can hit your first 10K per month. Honestly, that's the kind of math that I love. Stage 2, scale to 50K. Okay, so you've hit your freedom number, you've landed your first 4 clients, you've quit the job that you hated, and now you're thinking, cool, but $10K in New York City, it barely covers my rent, my taxes, and my $8 daily coffee habits. Well, fair point, fancy pants. Love scale. Well, at this stage, you're not reinventing the wheel. You're doubling down on what already works and squeezing every drop of leverage out of it. Now let's get to the steps. Step 1, raise your prices. Alex Hormozi says price is a reflection of value and proof. And once you have delivered real results, you've got proof. Get video testimonials, build one-page case studies with numbers like we got response times by 95% or closed 30% more bookings, and that's your rocket fuel. With that kind of proof, you're not charging $2,500 anymore. You're charging $5,000 upfront plus $2,500 a month. Step number 2, automate delivery. Use AI for your own business. Proposal templates, automated. Contracts, automated. Onboarding, automated. They're gonna think that you've got a team of 10 in suits when it's really just you and your laptop in sweatpants. Step 3, hire your first contractor. And no, we're not talking about big teams. It's just one solid freelancer to handle setups so you can focus on sales and client relationships. And you can think of it as cloning yourself without the moral issues. Stage 3, expand to 7 figures. Now comes the fun part, expansion. This is where your one-person business starts looking like an empire. First, delegate sales. You don't want to be stuck on Zoom calls all day. Bring in a closer that gets paid per deal. That frees you up for the real money moves. Second, build your brand. Pick one platform. It could be YouTube, LinkedIn. Share client wins. Break down systems. Teach what you already know. And this is how you become the go-to authority in your niche. Naval Ravikant said, leverage comes from code and media. Well, you've got the code, which is AI, and now you need the media. Third, add revenue streams. So there are 2 tracks here, track A and track B. Track A is basically you go high ticket. You offer AI audits and full-scale transformation for businesses. You're no longer just the bot guy. Now you're their AI partner. So now you basically try catching the bigger fishes. And track B is info products. You package your process into a playbook or a course. You sell it once and basically get paid forever. And I've seen guys track an extra 200K plus months just teaching what they already do. You basically combine this, and now we're not talking about just $50K per month. We're talking about multiple 6 figures per month. That's your millionaire territory. The 7-day action plan. Now, depending on how fast your leads respond, this timeline is going to vary. It might take you weeks or a couple of months probably, but the steps are always the same. Number 1, pick one system. Don't overthink it, just commit. Number 2, build a quick demo and a 1-page offer sheet. Number 3, pull 100 leads across 4 niches. Number 4, send your first cold email campaign. Number 5, book calls when replies come in. Ask for questions. Their traffic source, missed call rate, their booking gap, and their value per lead. Number 6, close one pilot client, aim to install within the first week of signing. And number 7 is deliver early results and grab that testimonial. And that's it. You just need 4 clients, and that's your only mission for now. So if I wanted to be a millionaire in 2026, I wouldn't be day trading or launching a sketchy NFT project. I would build a 1-person AI business. Start small, scale smart, and expand with brand and leverage. The game has changed. You don't need a team with 100 people. You don't need venture capital. With AI, you are the team. So here's my challenge to you. Don't just watch this and not. Run the play. Land those 4 clients. Build that proof. And remember that 10K a month is just your freedom number. And from there, it's basically just math. The gap between you and the top 1% isn't talent, money, or even luck. They have just discovered a set of rules that the rest of the world ignores. In the next few minutes, I'll break down those rules backed by psychology, real stats, and examples from names you know. Rule number 1, the 70-30 edge. Most people live in 100% doing mode staying busy, stressed out, loud, but not actually moving forward. That's why you'll hear someone brag, "Man, I've worked 70 hours this week." Well, it's a cool flex, but how much of that work actually led to progress? And how much was just you babysitting your emails as if it's a newborn child? The top performers spent about 70% of their time executing and 30% zooming out. That would include thinking, reviewing, spotting the next big lever. Jeff Bezos literally blocked off empty time in his calendar because he knew billion-dollar ideas don't just pop up when you're drowning in Slack notifications. Bill Gates took it even further with his famous Think Weeks, locking himself away with nothing but books and his brain. And a fun fact here, one of those weeks gave birth to Internet Explorer. But most people, they're sprinting on treadmills, sweating buckets, but going nowhere. But the top 1%, they step off, look around, and see that there's an escalator right next to it. So how do you apply this? Build reflection time into your schedule. That could mean 30 minutes a day to review your wins and screw-ups, or it could also be one longer deep thinking block every single week. Ask yourself these questions. What's actually working? What's something I need to eliminate? And where is my 10x move hiding? Trust me, those insights, they're worth more than another 20 hours of fake busyness. Rule number 2, the friction advantage. According to Duke University, about 45% of our daily behaviors are habits, not conscious decisions. Which means your environment is basically the steering wheel of your life. If your gym shoes are sitting by the bed, you're way more likely to actually work out. And if Doritos are hiding on the top shelf in the garage, suddenly you're not craving them at midnight. This is what I call the friction advantage. Lowering the friction for the good stuff and raising the friction for the junk. Netflix doesn't win because it's better than your willpower. It probably wins because your remote is 2 feet closer than your notebook. That's the kind of dumb, invisible detail that decides whether you're productive or not. So hack your defaults. If you want to read more, keep a book on top of your pillow so you literally need to move it before you go to bed. If you want to stop doom scrolling, just delete the apps from your home screen. Look, these little friction tricks, they might sound trivial or boring, but they work. That's why James Clear's Atomic Habits sold more than 15 million copies, because the science of small, invisible choices stacks up over time. Rule number 3, asymmetric bet. Now let's talk about asymmetric bets. These are moves where the downside is tiny, but the upside is massive. This is how people actually change their lives, not by grinding harder, but by placing bets that scale. Naval Ravikant, the Silicon Valley entrepreneur and angel investor who got into Uber and Twitter early, says wealth comes from asymmetric opportunities. For him, posting online was a bet. Learning to code was another one. And every coffee chat in Silicon Valley wasn't just small talk. It was like grabbing a lottery ticket with insane upside. Think about it. What's the downside of posting your ideas on LinkedIn once a day? Maybe it's a little bit of embarrassment before you get good, but the upside, it's probably a client, a job offer, maybe a business that changes your entire trajectory. And that's asymmetric. Most people spend all their energy squeezing 1% out of symmetric bets. It could be things like clipping coupons to get a $3 discount on groceries. But they ignored the asymmetric ones that could return 100x. That's like fighting over crumbs when there is a whole bakery next door giving away free samples. So here's how you apply this. Once a month, ask yourself, what's a bet I can take where failure costs me almost nothing, but success could be life-changing? And that's where you want to place your chips. Rule number 4, the energy arbitrage. Everybody talks about time management, but here's the truth. Your time is useless if your energy is trash. You don't need another productivity app. You need better energy arbitrage, protecting and multiplying your energy so every hour actually counts. Look at Brian Johnson, the tech entrepreneur who sold Braintree to PayPal. He now spends over $2 million a year on his Blueprint anti-aging protocol, all in an effort to keep his body biologically 18. Extreme? Definitely. But it proves how seriously founders treat energy as leverage. Because if your body and mind are running at peak performance, you're compounding faster than anyone still trying to brute force their way through exhaustion. We burn through energy like it's on an unlimited data plan, then we act surprised when we're buffering halfway through the week. It's not that you're lazy. It's just that you're stuck on dial-up while the top 1% are streaming in 4K. So here's the play. Do an energy audit this week. Write down what drains you and what charges you up. Maybe Zoom meetings suck your soul, but working out gives you 3 extra productive hours. Maybe hanging with certain people leaves you wiped, while brainstorming with others has you buzzing. Protect the energizers and ruthlessly cut the drains. You will compound returns faster than the S&P 500s. Rule number 5. The network effect applied to people. You've probably heard of the network effect in tech. The more users a platform has, the more valuable it becomes. Facebook, Uber, Airbnb all built empires of it. Now here's the thing. Your personal growth works the same way. Andrew Carnegie, once the richest man in America, credited his entire empire to his mastermind group, a circle of peers who challenged and pushed each other. It wasn't luck, it was the network effect applied to people. Here's the hard truth. If you're the smartest person at brunch, congratulations, you are in the wrong brunch. Growth doesn't happen when everyone nods at your ideas as if it's Sunday school. Growth happens when you're surrounded by people who make you uncomfortable in the best possible way. People who are already where you want to be. So here's your move. Create or join a small group of people with aligned goals. Could be founders, creators, writers, gym buddies, doesn't matter. Meet weekly, swap wins, share struggles, and set goals. That tiny circle will push you more in 3 months than your company's annual performance review ever will. Now stack these 5 together and you've basically built yourself an unfair advantage system. The 70-30 edge keeps you from wasting years on treadmill work. The friction advantage designs your habits to win by default. Asymmetric bets make sure you're playing offense, not just defense. Energy arbitrage keeps your performance spiking instead of flatlining. And the network effect compounds your growth through people. Do this for 6 months and you will feel like you have unlocked cheat codes. Not because you're special, but because you're doing the things that the 99% of people are too distracted to notice. That's all I have for you today. I hope you got a ton of value from this. If you did, please hit that like button. It really helps to push this video to more people who need to watch this. I'm Anika. On this channel, I talk about 1% businesses, AI, and human potential / self-mastery, all the stuff that fascinated me that I'm passionate about. So if this sounds like your jam, please take your shoes off and come on in by hitting that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Ciao for now, and I'll see you in the next one.